Welcome to Retirement Ramblings. I'm Scott, and today is day 166 on my countdown to retirement and a quick catch up on day 167. So, on day 167, I was finally able to pick up my wife. She was discharged from the hospital in the late afternoon, and she has a follow up with the cardiologist the day prior to us leaving on our cruise trip. So for the next 90 days, the cardiologist has her on a cocktail of medications, which include calcium channel blockers, also known as calcium channel antagonists, and a bunch of meds to lower and maintain a lower blood pressure. The test indicated that the left ventricle in her heart was mildly, what they called mildly affected, and so it was reducing some blood flow. And they think that it will self-repair over a 90-day period. And at the end of the 90 days, she'll go back, have another echocardiogram to see if their hypothesis is correct and that full flow has been re-achieved in that portion of her heart. In which case, then, theoretically, it would be like it never happened. We'll see. And then at the end of the 90 days, once they verify that, then they'll adjust medications from there. But, for right now, she's got a bunch of stuff she has to take in the morning and a very small number of things she has to take right before bed. And then I went to pick up the medications at our local Publix pharmacy, and I had no idea what it was going to cost me. There was 5 medications that I needed to pick up. So when I went there, first of all, I had called in advance. They said they'd be ready at a certain time. I showed up at that, well, actually, I showed up a little bit later than the time that they said. Hadn't finished processing them, so I just sat there and waited until they were done. And then the girl rang it up, and I had my credit card in my hand ready to pay for them. And then she told me the price, which was $1.33 across all 5 of the medications. And I was like, "Are you kidding me?" And she was like, "No." So put away my credit card and got out $2 cash, gave it to her so I could get that taken care of, and away I went. But apparently all the things that they prescribed, were covered by her Medicare Advantage plan. So happy to find that it was going to not cost me very much money for the drugs. And then after I brought her home, she went back to sleep. She slept for most of the day. Had a very low appetite. She just had a bowl of soup for dinner. And that's after having not eaten since about 9 p.m. on July 15th. So she just, the whole time she was in the hospital, she just wasn't hungry. And even now, when she's still really not that hungry, which I guess is okay. Anyway, that's what happened for day 167. And then for today, day 166, like I always do on Saturday morning, I did my weekly financial review. And this week we ended up being up 0.28%. So we're now back up to getting a return for the year across our portfolio of 7.01%. Which is pretty good. So the S&P 500 for the year is up 7.06%, and that's with 100% obviously equity allocation across the 500 stocks that it tracks. And in our case, our IRA, our traditional IRAs, are set up on a 70-30 allocation, 70% equities, 30% fixed assets, fixed income. And then our Roths are 80-20. And so the fact that we're just slightly behind the S&P, I felt pretty good about for our year-to-date return so far. And then I was finally able to unload my Warner Brothers Discovery shares, which I got as part of the spinoff of Warner Brothers from AT&T. And I just unloaded them this week when it finally hit what has been a 52-week high for Warner Brothers, and really that stock has been crap, just crap for the last since the spinoff. It's done nothing but go down. So even unloading it at a 52-week high, we ended up basically getting 50% of our money back on the value of the stock. But it was the biggest loser in my portfolio, and I just couldn't stand looking at it anymore, being in the red. And I'll reinvest the dollars into something that will return me something. Hopefully, they'll make back the money that I lost on that particular equity. And then the other equity that's, a major problem for me is Humana, which, I bought probably the year prior to them having the issue where first post-pandemic people said, oh, they're going to start using more of their insurance, so all the seniors that weren't getting procedures done started having procedures, so their loss ratio went up. But that wasn't the main thing. It was their star rating went and dropped below 4 stars, and so as soon as that happened, and then they started a lawsuit, which again recently uh, they didn't win, and so to get the 4 star rating back. So because of that, their membership, I guess, for lack of a better term, dropped from like 94% to like 20, sub 30%, high 20s. I just don't remember the number. Anyway, the stock has dropped hundreds of points. So again, I'm probably down another 50% on that particular equity. But luckily for me, the other non-healthcare, non-media stocks that I owned all are doing really, really well. So, that's what happens in a diversified portfolio. Not everything can go up, but I just hate seeing the red every single week when I look at it. And that's why lots of you guys just own, straight ETFs. You don't have individual equities because, again, if you pick wrong, it hurts. But if you pick right, you can do really, really well. And in my case, I have a good blend of ETFs that cover broad sections of the market, especially in areas like cybersecurity, where I have no idea what's going to be the winner. I just know that the theme is going to be a long-term theme that I want to own. So in my case, I play that through the BUG ETF, and I've been really happy with the performance of it. But I don't know whether it's going to be CloudStrike or Palo Alto or Fortinet or any of the other people that are, making up the current cybersecurity space, or if there's going to be consolidation, what have you. So in that case, I buy it through ETFs. But in the case where I bought the things that I bought that I lost money on, those things were actually, at the time when I bought them, effectively leaders in the field in their particular industries, and things just went awry with the business, and stuff happens. Anyway, this week the stock market as a whole ended up mixed. The Dow Jones finished down 0.1% to 44,342. The S&P 500 was up 0.6% to 6297. The Nasdaq was up 1.5% at 20,896. The Russell 2000 was up 0.2% at 2240, and 3 of the 11 S&P 500 sectors were down for the week, led by healthcare down to, actually that's not true, led by energy down by 3.9%, then healthcare down 2.6%, and then materials down 1.3%. And then WTI crude was down 1.6% to $67.34 a barrel. Gold was also down 0.2% to $33.5830 per troy ounce. For the first week in like 3 or 4 weeks, natural gas was finally up 7.6% to $3.56.5. And then international markets were also mixed this week, with India being the big loser, down 0.9% at 81,758. France was also down 0.1% at 78.23. And the winner for the week was the Hong Kong Exchange, which was up 2.8% at 24,826. And then this morning, my son and daughter-in-law Took an early morning flight out of Raleigh via Las Vegas back into San Francisco to head home. They did their apartment shopping, if you will. I think they went and saw either 11 or 12 different apartment complexes and toured them. They ended up putting in an application for something and, wait to see if they get approved so that we'll know exactly, the building and address that they're going to be moving to. But their current target is to move to the Raleigh area in the middle of August. So happy to hear that. And then my son also had a 3-hour interview while he was there with a company that he's looking forward to joining. He has one final interview with one of the owners of the company, and that'll be coming up in the next week. And then presumably once that's over, if there's no issues from the owner's perspective, they'll make the offer, and then we'll see whether he accepts that or not and go from there. Anyway, that's my update for today and for yesterday. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them in the comment section down below or drop me an email at myretirementramblings@gmail.com. Otherwise, I hope you have a great evening, and until tomorrow, take care.